the Peloponnesian War. A fine war for those of you that like war. A war between Athens and Sparta. A war which would tear the Greek city-states apart. The Peloponnesian War. Dun dun dun. Alright. Such is our video for today. Alright, so, since you are wondering, well, Mr. Shea, what caused this war? Good question. What caused this war were three main things. First off, other city-states in Greece are fearing that Athens is going to try to take too much power, too much prestige. It is growing to be the largest and most powerful city in the world, building massive structures such as this, the Acropolis. So there's this fear among other city-states that Athens is desiring too much. Athens is also growing as a naval power. So it is continuing to build these triremes, these powerful ships that can control the seas, which for other merchants and trading city-states is a threat. And finally, Greece is settling elsewhere in the Mediterranean. They're establishing these settlements throughout these trade partners, and they are becoming more than a city-state, they are becoming an empire, which is causing fear among the other Greek city-states as well. So, Greece certainly is broken up into two different groups. One of them is the Delian League, and the Delian League is headed by Athens. You can see in the middle in red. And these other city-states, some of them are very small, certainly not even close to the size of Athens, have joined them both economically and militarily as allies. So the Delian League has these allegiances between these city-states in ancient Greece. Opposed to the Delian League is the Peloponnesian League. It is called the Peloponnesian League because mostly the Peloponnesian League is on the, what you see there, the Peloponnesian Peninsula. So we have these two groups, these two sets of allies that exist, and as you'll later see in World War I, the alliances are going to bring these two powers, Sparta and Athens, into war. Now this war that we're going to look at lasts for 27 years. Certainly it is not continuous fighting for 27 years, but it starts in 431 BC and it ends in 404 BC. And it includes both large naval battles as well as battles on the land. Now for the Athenians, they owe much of their success at this time and their expansion and growing power to this man right here, whose name is Pericles. And he is a prominent politician as well as general who was certainly around and present and participating in the Persian Wars and also in the beginning of the Peloponnesian War. So he turns what starts out just as a city-state of Athens into really this empire. Many people call it the Age of Pericles, and he's known as the first citizen of Athens. Now, Pericles, when it comes to the Peloponnesian War, is certainly some people blame Pericles for the war because he is spreading out and kind of making other city-states in the region angry. Certainly some people also blame Sparta for being afraid of Athens and their power, but certainly Pericles had a major role. Pericles at this time is convinced that there has to be a war between Athens and Sparta. He doesn't want there to be a war, but he feels like it is inevitable. So when the war begins, Pericles leads the Athenian troops. Since, though, the Athenians are a naval power and the Spartans are a land power, throughout the war it's hard to have any battles that are really decisive, that really determine anything between the two, which is why the war spreads for so long. Athens, especially since the Spartans are so superior on the land, they are protected by what's known as the Long Walls of Athens. And these spread from Athens to the port of Piraeus, which you can see in this image here. Also, we looked at it in that video, if you recall, about Athens. So this really helps protect Athens from great destruction or anything by the Spartan army. However, it doesn't mean that they are going to win. Especially because of this. The Athenians are struck by a plague, which, as plagues go, result in many deaths. It also results in the death of Pericles. The estimate is 1/3 to 2/3 of Athens' population dies. Approximately 30,000 people were killed. So this plague is in about 430 BC. And in fact, the Spartans were planning on invading, but they were unwilling to because they were afraid their own soldiers would catch the plague as well. Pericles was a pretty aggressive military guy, so after his death, these Athenians kind of hold back and aren't as aggressive, which really slows down the war as well. Now, this war is going on for a fairly long time. There's a number of battles that we won't get into because we're not going to do a 4-hour video today. At various times, there is peace that occurs between the Spartans and the Athenians. However, in Sicily, 17 years into this war, war occurs in Sicily. If you look here on the map, Sicily is on the far left. And if you're wondering how the heck are the Greeks fighting in Sicily, well, the Athenians were allied with the people in Sicily. So they had some allies in Sicily, and Syracuse was attacking their allies. So the Athenians go to war to protect their allies in Sicily, and they have hundreds of ships, thousands of troops, and they are at various points defeated not only by the troops on the ground of Syracuse, but also there's a lunar eclipse that is seen as a bad omen that also spells defeat for the Athenians. They have a massive sea battle in the port of Syracuse, which is right here, where the Athenian navy is pretty handily defeated. Almost all the remaining forces are either enslaved or killed by the Syracuse army. So not only is this weakening Athens, but it's really showing that they can be defeated, especially at sea, which results in some revolts against Athens. Their allies are not as friendly to Athens as they aren't being seen as protecting them. At one point, if you look to the north of Athens, this is the certainly different spelling of Athens. Decelia is a city which actually has a number of silver mines. In the silver mines, there's 20,000 slaves that were working in those silver mines are freed by the Spartans, which results in more rebellion because now the Athenians don't have silver as much as they had before, and their empire is quickly crumbling. So really, all of these defeats, not only militarily but economically, results in Athens. Certainly they have some time that they recuperate, but they do surrender. So Athens surrenders in 405 BC, and it really, 404 BC, and it spells the end of the Athenian Empire. The Spartans now are in control of ancient Greece.